Imagine scrolling through your social media feed right now. Someone just posted a lengthy explanation about why they made a certain decision. Another person is live tweeting their entire thought process about a conflict at work. A third is sharing every detail of their relationship struggles in a public story that will disappear in 24 hours, but leave a permanent impression in everyone's mind. Meanwhile, there's that one person you know, the one who posts rarely, speaks deliberately, and somehow commands more attention with their silence than others do with their endless commentary. What's the difference? They've mastered what I call strategic silence, and it's made them virtually unreadable, unpredictable, and ultimately powerful. In our age of compulsive oversharing, we've been conditioned to believe that communication equals connection, that transparency equals authenticity, and that more words equal more influence. But here's the brutal truth nobody tells you. Every word you speak, every thought you share, every emotion you broadcast is a piece of intelligence you're handing to the world for free, and the world will use it against you. Today, we're going to explore the uncompromising principle of strategic silence, why the less you reveal, the more power you command. Let's start with an uncomfortable reality. Your need to explain yourself is making you weak. We live in an era of what I call compulsive disclosure. Someone disagrees with you online, and you immediately feel compelled to write 3 paragraphs defending your position. Your boss questions your decision, and you launch into an elaborate justification. A friend misunderstands your intentions, and you send a lengthy text explaining what you really meant. But here's what you're actually doing. You're teaching people that your decisions require their approval. Every explanation is an apology. Every justification is a plea for validation. Every defense is an admission that you're uncertain about your own choices. Consider 2 colleagues in a meeting. Person A proposes a strategy and, when questioned, spends 10 minutes explaining their reasoning, addressing every possible objection, and seeking consensus. Person B proposes a strategy and, when questioned, simply says, "I've analyzed the data. This is the optimal approach. I'm confident in it." Who appears more competent? Who seems more decisive? The person desperate to convince everyone, or the person secure enough to let their judgment speak for itself? Machiavelli understood this dynamic when he observed, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, because it belongs to everybody to see you, to few to come in touch with you." In our modern context, this means people will judge you by your persona, your restraint, and your strategic presentation, not by the exhaustive explanations you provide. When you over-explain, you reveal insecurity. When you remain silent, you project authority. The digital age has weaponized our natural desire to be understood. Social media platforms algorithmically reward engagement, which means they reward reaction. Someone posts something you disagree with, the platform wants you to comment. Someone criticizes you, the algorithm wants you to defend yourself. Someone misrepresents your position, the entire system is designed to pull you into an exhausting cycle of explanation and counter-explanation. But here's the strategic insight. Engagement is not influence. The person spending hours in comment section debates is not gaining power, they're hemorrhaging it. They're revealing their triggers, their reasoning patterns, their emotional vulnerabilities. They're teaching everyone exactly how to manipulate them. Meanwhile, the strategically silent individual observes, absorbs, and acts only when action serves their interests, not when emotion demands reaction. The first principle of strategic power is what I call calculated ambiguity, the deliberate practice of leaving space between your thoughts and your words, between your intentions and your explanations. This isn't dishonesty, it's strategic restraint. When you don't immediately fill every silence, when you don't rush to clarify every misunderstanding, when you allow others to wonder about your motives, you force them to invest mental energy trying to understand you. This investment creates fascination, respect, and a form of psychological leverage that oversharing destroys. Consider salary negotiations. The amateur walks in and immediately explains why they need more money. Student loans, rising rent, family obligations? They've just revealed that their request is based on need, not value. The strategist walks in and states their number, then remains silent. The silence is uncomfortable, but it's powerful. It forces the employer to justify the current offer rather than forcing the employee to justify their request. Machiavelli captured this perfectly. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. The fool speaks first, reveals everything, and loses negotiating power. The wise person uses silence as a strategic weapon, speaking only when speech advances their position. In the realm of digital footprints and permanent records, strategic opacity becomes even more critical. Every tweet, every post, every public comment creates a data point that others can use to predict your behavior, manipulate your emotions, or undermine your credibility. Think about the last public figure who fell from grace because of old tweets or past statements taken out of context. Now think about the leaders and influencers who maintain mystique precisely because they're selective about what they share. The person who posts their political views, relationship problems, and daily frustrations on social media is creating a comprehensive manual for anyone who wants to manipulate or discredit them. The person who maintains strategic silence controls the narrative because there's no contradictory evidence, no embarrassing history, no pattern of emotional reactivity to exploit. As Machiavelli noted, everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. In our age of algorithmic surveillance and digital permanence, this principle is more vital than ever. Your curated silence is more powerful than your unfiltered honesty. The second law of strategic silence is selective disclosure, the practice of revealing information only when it serves a specific purpose and advances a concrete goal. This requires answering a simple question before every communication. What do I gain by saying this? Not, do I want to say this, or do I feel like sharing this? But what strategic advantage does this disclosure provide? Most people communicate to relieve emotional pressure. They're angry, so they vent. They're excited, so they overshare. They're hurt, so they explain. But emotional relief is not strategic value. In fact, it's often strategic cost. When you post about how frustrated you are with your job, you've just signaled to your employer that you're a retention risk and to competitors that you might be available. But you've also signaled that you're someone who handles frustration through public complaint rather than private resolution. When you share every detail of your new business venture, you've satisfied your need for validation, but you've also given competitors a roadmap of your strategy and potential partners a reason to question whether you can maintain confidentiality. Strategic silence means treating information as currency, valuable precisely because it's scarce, and powerful precisely because you control its distribution. The executive who shares their strategy only with key stakeholders maintains control. The person who broadcasts every plan on social media invites interference, competition, and unwanted opinions from people with no stake in their success. In negotiations, relationships, and leadership, the person who speaks less and reveals strategically holds the power. They're the ones others are trying to read, trying to understand, trying to please. They've created information asymmetry in their favor. The third principle of strategic power is what I call productive detachment, the ability to remain silent, not just in speech, but in emotional reaction. This goes beyond not responding to every criticism or not engaging in every debate. It means developing the internal discipline to observe provocation without feeling compelled to react. Think about the last time someone baited you into an argument on social media or in a meeting. They said something inflammatory, and you felt that immediate surge of emotion demanding that you respond, correct, defend, or attack. In that moment, they controlled you. Your reaction was predictable and therefore manipulable. Machiavelli understood this when he wrote, "Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose between them, it is far safer to be feared than loved." In modern terms, this means it's better to be seen as someone who cannot be provoked than someone who can be won over. The person who can be emotionally manipulated through guilt, flattery, or provocation is weak regardless of their position or resources. The person who remains strategically detached is powerful because they cannot be controlled through emotional leverage. In digital communication, this means not responding to trolls, not defending yourself against every criticism, and not allowing the constant stream of notifications to dictate your emotional state. It means recognizing that most communication directed at you is not about you. It's about the sender's need for attention, validation, or emotional release. Your silence in response to provocation is not weakness, it's mastery. It signals that you cannot be controlled through emotional manipulation and that your time and attention are not free commodities available to anyone who wants to consume them. The strategically silent individual understands that attention is their most valuable resource, and they guard it ruthlessly. Here we arrive at what might be the most crucial insight. Strategic silence is not about becoming cold, distant, or uncommunicative. It's about becoming intentional. It's about recognizing that in a world where everyone is shouting, fighting for attention, and compulsively oversharing, the person who speaks purposefully becomes magnetic. When you do speak, people listen because they know your words carry weight. When you do share, people pay attention because they know it's significant. When you do engage, people value it because they know it's not given freely to everyone about everything. Consider the difference between two leaders. Leader A is constantly available, responding to every message immediately, sharing their thoughts on every issue, making themselves accessible to everyone at all times. Leader B has boundaries around their communication, responds thoughtfully rather than immediately, speaks primarily about matters that advance their objectives, and maintains a degree of mystique about their process and thinking. Who commands more respect? Who has more influence? The person who's become background noise through constant availability, or the person whose scarcity makes their engagement valuable? The path to power through strategic silence requires 3 commitments. First, you must cultivate comfort with misunderstanding. Not everyone will understand your decisions, and that's acceptable. Your need for universal comprehension is weakness disguised as communication. Second, you must develop immunity to provocation. People will bait you, challenge you, and attempt to pull you into their drama. Your refusal to engage is not cowardice, it's strategic discipline. Third, you must treat information as power and guard it accordingly. Every piece of information you reveal is leverage you've surrendered. Be intentional about what you share, with whom, and for what purpose. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." The modern translation, "It's better to be respected than understood if you cannot be both." And respect comes not from exhaustive explanation, but from demonstrated competence paired with strategic restraint. The ultimate goal of strategic silence is not to become mysterious for mystery's sake or silent out of fear. It's to reclaim power in a world that constantly demands you give it away through compulsive disclosure. It's to recognize that your thoughts, plans, and internal processes are yours alone unless you choose to share them for strategic advantage. In an age of digital exhibitionism, where everyone broadcasts their every emotion and opinion, the person who maintains strategic silence becomes revolutionary. They're the calm in the chaos, the signal in the noise, the person everyone is trying to understand because they refuse to make themselves completely transparent. The choice is yours. Continue participating in the exhausting cycle of explanation, justification, and compulsive disclosure that makes you predictable and manipulable. Or embrace strategic silence, selective disclosure, and calculated ambiguity that make you powerful. As Machiavelli understood centuries ago, and as our hyper-connected age has made more urgent than ever, true power lies not in making yourself understood by everyone, but in making yourself unreadable to those who would use that understanding against you. The less you say, the more power you command. The less you explain, the more respect you earn. The less you reveal, the more influence you wield. The path to power through strategic silence is uncompromising because it requires you to resist every instinct our digital culture has programmed into you. But for those disciplined enough to speak less and reveal strategically, it offers something invaluable: control over your own narrative, immunity to manipulation, and the kind of power that comes not from dominating others, but from mastering yourself.